What's up, everyone? This is the Fraser podcast, and we're with Uncle Blaiso on our weekly segment, recapping Week 7. We're talking some NFL draft mocks, since we know who the worst teams in the league are. A little bit of weird World Series primer, since it's the World Series that just kind of came out of nowhere, seemingly, but maybe just for non-baseball fans, that's how it was. And what else? Oh, some trades we'd like to see, since the trade deadline, I think, is it next week? I'm pretty sure it expires. So
it's got to be a couple more, isn't it?
Oh, maybe. I know it was in the next couple. So yeah.
That was a cheap shot. You just snuck in at baseball, by the way.
I meant I'm not paying attention, so everyone else is paying attention. Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, sorry. It snuck up on me.
Like that.
Yeah. But apparently, I mean, let's go right into the baseball. Is this like the best matchup in, at least for just excitement TV fans in years?
Maybe ever. I mean,
yeah.
I shouldn't say ever because I don't want to disrespect the game back then, but like the amount of stars in this game is something I've never seen. I mean, the Dodgers alone have 3 MVPs, right? In Freeman, Betts, and Ohtani. You got Judge has been an MVP. Stanton he's like tied with, or just broke a Babe Ruth record for home runs in the postseason for the Yankees. Soto is going to be an MVP. It's just a matter of time. They got a Cy Young winner. It's the star power. Plus, it's just New York and LA, Dodgers, Yankees, right? So apparently the tickets are out of control. They're like Taylor Swift level.
I could imagine, because even the Diamondbacks last year, when I wanted to go check out a game, I was like, all right, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. It was in the thousands. That's for a team that no one cares about. I can only imagine Dodgers, Yankees.
It's crazy. People are just losing it. So it's, not to get bogged down. I don't think a lot of baseball people are listening, but it's going to be a fantastic World Series. Obviously, I'm a Dodgers fan going back to my dad and times as a kid. I remember watching baseball with him. So watching them win a World Series and beating the Spankies along the way is going to be pretty great. I'm looking forward to it.
Is Ohtani, has he been like just dealing in the playoffs, or what's he been like?
Yeah, he had a little bit of a stretch there where it was funny because he would be unconscious if there was runners on, but he was like 0 for 20 with nobody on base. And then but now he's kind of back and mixing it in. He's not pitching, obviously, but there's been some rumors that he might be back to pitch in the World Series, but I don't think they're going to do that.
That'd be insane. I'd tune in for that. If all of a sudden Game 7, the music starts and he comes out of the bullpen
up here. That'd be bonkers. So I don't see it happening, but you never know. Like, he's throwing full speed bullpens, so it's going to be a must watch. Like, I want nothing more than for him to lead off bottom of the first with a home run. I think that would just be, it would send the internet into an absolute uproar, and obviously baseball in general. I think it's going to be huge. It's going to be, rankings wise, I got to think it's going to be the most watched World Series in decades. But
I couldn't imagine there being a better just teams and franchises and cities in any sport, right? I mean, I can't think of in the NBA what's happened recently. Like it's not like the Lakers and the Knicks are ever good at the same time.
Yeah.
Football, I mean, I guess it would have to be the Cowboys, and I don't know, but obviously that's never going to happen.
Cowboys, so we don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
Right. It would be like, this is the equivalent. I mean, the size of Boston isn't as big, but still, this is basically like Lakers, Celtics, right? Like back in the day, this is what Dodgers, Yankees is in a baseball sense. So, it's gonna be outstanding. I can't wait. I don't like the time. The layoff is always weird because it just seems like from the first round to the second, the team that has a layoff always seems to not come out of the gate hot. But at least both of them have a layoff. So,
when's Game 1?
Not till Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So Friday, Saturday, then get out of the way for the NFL to take over Sunday, and then come back after that. So
nice.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a pretty TV-ridden weekend around the old homestead.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, let's hop into some football. I was thinking we're going to do the top 5 teams, but I guess this is really just hard to pick. I mean, you get splitting hairs. I kind of feel like, I mean, you could. I've got the Chiefs 1 just because they can't be unseated, even if they haven't played great. They're still 6-0. Who do you have in your top, like 1 through 5?
You want to go 1 first or 5?
Whichever you feel like. You're the
So
guest.
you got the Chiefs one. I'm going Ravens.
Okay. Ooh.
I just think that they're just on a different level right now. Obviously, yeah, like the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I've got them at number 2. Like
Yeah.
there's not a lot separating them, but it seems like Lamar is just on a mission, and some of his comments, in his interviews after that Week 1 loss to the Chiefs, he's got them in his sights. Like he knows that's the team that he hasn't been able to beat yet, and he knows that Mahomes isn't the guy that he hasn't been able to overcome yet. And I think he's obsessed with it, and I think his play has just been he's bonkers. He's like from a different planet sometimes, and that game. Obviously, there's the toe is half an inch on the back of the end zone, or Casey isn't undefeated right now, and people say there was a couple calls, whatever, on that one, but that's like that play that could have very easily been a Baltimore win. So I would say Ravens, Chiefs. I'm going Lions at 3. I think they would be a battle for either one of those teams, just because their offense they can block, first of all, which is an anomaly that 3/4 of the league can't do, and they have so many weapons. And Goff is playing his ass off. Like he's
been outrageous,
right? Like we were talking earlier in the year about how Jaden Daniels set the record for like the best completion percentage in a 4-game span. He just crushed it. He did by handily. So
Goff has some stats. He's had a perfect completion percentage in 4 halves, which no one else in the league has done once.
It's nuts.
And then I think in the last 4 games, I saw this on the internet. It was like the Lions have more touchdowns with 18, I think it is, than he has incompletions with 14.
Yeah, like in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah,
it's insane. Crazy. And they can run the ball. They got one of the best running games in the league. So I think if they didn't lose Hutch, I think that I would say they're for sure going to the Super Bowl. That is a big one, right? Like you lose your best defensive player, it's going to make a difference. But still, they're playing well. They're coached well. A lot to like there. So I'd say Bills at number 5. Right. Just they've been.
Or did we skip 4?
Oh, sorry, 4. Yeah, okay. Bills are 4.
Yeah.
I got Ravens, Chiefs, Lions, Bills, and then in the 5 spot, like I'm having a hard time between the Packers and the Vikings. I'm hoping that they play soon because that'll settle it. I think that they're both really good. I think they're both very athletic on defense. I probably right now would give a slight edge to the Pack just because I just think that Love is better than Sammy D. Even though Donald's playing great, nothing against him. He's playing good. Like he's doing the job, but I think Love is just at a different level. So I think if I had to choose between those two, I'd probably say Pack. But that's the beauty of that is in the same division we're going to find out. So
that's crazy. I mean, it's not rocket science or breaking news, but 3 of the top 5 teams are in the NFC North, which I don't think anyone had that happening ever.
I know. How do you feel if you're a Bears fan? Like you've been dog shit for 2 decades, and now you're actually got like it seems to be a decent team, and you're still like, are we going to be in the basement again?
Right.
It sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks. What's the rest of yours look like?
I mean, I was kind of splitting hairs. I couldn't really give you I've got the Chiefs 1, then the Ravens 2, Lions 3. And then I was kind of torn, just like you. I think I had the Bills 4, and same thing, just Vikings, Packers, toss up.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, who's kind of looking in outside Houston? Maybe the Steelers a little sprinkle.
I'm going to need to see it. Like, everyone's talking about what a great win that was on Monday. I mean, they were losing at halftime, and then the Jets had to jet.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's good.
The Steelers are first in the division? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
They have a game in hand, obviously, on the Ravens, but that's crazy.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're
but I know what you mean.
They're a top 8 to 10 team, I would think. But are they in the playoffs? Are they gonna? Is there an AFC team that would make the playoffs that doesn't want to play them? Houston would, be favored against them. Ravens, Chiefs, Bills would all be favored against them. They haven't played the Bengals yet. The Bengals are starting to play good, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Pittsburgh can keep it up. But they've had a pretty, they haven't played the hardest schedule yet. So
Yeah.
We're going to see. They got a pretty nasty stretch coming up.
This has nothing to do with the top 5 teams. It's actually the bottom 5 teams, but the Jaguars schedule. Have you like checked it out at all? So
No, they
they're
had a real
2.
barn burner this past week.
So they had a pretty rough schedule to start the season, and I thought that was like it for them because I remember looking when I was doing their winning projections. I was like, oh, they have a brutal start, and then after that it gets easier. It does not. So what? They're 2-5. They go Packers, Eagles, Vikings, Lions, Texans. So they could be 2-10. Yeah, isn't that insane?
Oh my goodness, there's a good chance they could be 2-10.
Yeah. Oh my god.
3-9 maybe is likely.
Easy 3-9. I need to hedge my Jaguars futures and just do some 3-9 or 3-win Jaguars, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Under 4-win total.
Pick for the Jaggies.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that. That's tough.
Isn't it? It's brutal.
That's a grind. Sell your Trevor Lawrence fantasy stock.
Everywhere. Absolutely.
Yeah. God, that sucked on Sunday.
So, well, speaking of teams that sucked, let's get into the top 5, 10, wherever you want to go, but just mock drafts.
Oh.
It's a little early, but I mean, I'm looking at some players. All of a sudden, CBS Sports has Michael Williams as number 1 overall to the Pats. I mean, it might be easier.
Whoa.
Yeah,
number 1 overall.
This is CBS.
CBS. Yeah, they're going to be picking fairly high, but they're not going to be number 1 overall.
All right, let's say it's the Panthers. Where do you think I guess it could just be even position-wise. It looks like, there's some quarterbacks. We've got Cam Ward at the top.
Yeah.
Shadur Sanders, which I'm not sure how I feel about him. And then, what's his name with Georgia has really plummeted. He was like Carson Beck.
Yeah, he's definitely plummeting. I don't know. I didn't really assign it to teams. I kind of just did a top 5 players taken.
Yeah.
Because I think there is going to be some movement this year, right? Like the Pats, yes, they're going to be somewhere probably in the top 5, but they don't need a quarterback. So they're a team that could bump down. And as much as you always see these different players, that the Michael Williams, Travis Hunter, the top 2 picks are going to be quarterbacks. There's just too many teams that need them, right? So I think Shady goes first. I think Shadur Sanders is going first overall, yeah.
You don't think it's like hype? I mean, I love Shadur because I threw the ball with him for a while, so I just have to pretend to have some sort of affiliation and love for him. But I get
what was that word you just used? Affiliation?
Affiliation, sorry. Affiliation, yeah, whatever.
I think you probably just made that up.
Let me Google it. But affinity, that's what I want to go for.
One.
Affinity.
Yeah.
But
I mean, affiliation works too, I suppose, if you play catch.
I just combine them into
affiliation.
I just can't tell if he's all hype or not, because obviously Colorado isn't that great, but he's got the tools. He looks skinny as well. Yeah,
I don't know. He looks so talented to me. And God, he can throw the rock and he can move. I think I just have him and Ward going top 2, and because teams are going to make moves, right? Like Carolina needs a quarterback. New Orleans is going to be down there. They should be looking at a quarterback. The Browns, they're going to now be paying Deshaun Watson $1 billion for the next 2 years, and thank God they won't have him. But they have to have a rookie quarterback. That's the only route to survival that they have, is a cheap quarterback. So there's just so many teams that I think are going to be down there. And then that Michael Williams, did you watch him against Texas?
I saw bits and pieces.
Freak show. He's a freak show. So I had him 3rd, Travis Hunter 4th, and then Will Campbell, the tackle from LSU, 5th.
Yeah.
I was in a spot where, one of those 2 picks, I'm assuming, is going to be the Patriots, and we need
the tackle.
A tackle or a, receiver / corner who never leaves the field, even though I don't know if he's going to do that in the NFL. But if he does do it, I wouldn't mind if it was for my team.
Yeah. No doubt. All right. Yeah, I was just kind of interested.
Who do you got up there?
No, I was just kind of looking at it too, of kind of like who needs what. So yeah, like you said, is it Cam Ward or Shadur going to the Panthers? Yeah, I had a tackle going to the Patriots, or maybe also Travis Hunter. And then like you said, James Pierce. I guess it's just splitting hairs, right? People will take James Pierce, or say people will take Michael Williams, or go from there. But I was surprised to see lately how the other quarterbacks had just dropped off the planet.
Big time. Is there any teams this year that have multiple ones?
I don't know. I'm just scrolling through fast, but I'm not sure.
There was like the last couple of years, it seems there's always been a couple teams that had multiple ones.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, that's who I want the Patriots to trade with. Like they just need so much. I'd love to see them end up with 2 firsts or 3 seconds or something along those lines.
Yeah, it's not looking like it just from a quick scroll, but
yeah, I can't think of anybody who doesn't have their first this year.
Yeah,
I mean, if it is, it might be someone who's kind of later, maybe picking late 20s anyway, so not a big deal. But like the last couple of years, we've had 2 teams that had top 10, top 12 picks and had multiples. So
yeah.
I guess it would have been last year the Vikings, and they had like 10 and 18 or something along those lines. Like that's what I'd love to see.
The Bears too, right?
Their hands on. Yeah. Bears with 2 in the top 10.
Yeah. All right. Switching gears, we're talking a few trades. I mean, any trades you'd like to see? I was just kind of thinking off the top of my head. I said last week, Rachaad White to the Cowboys because they need running backs, and Tampa apparently can throw anyone that they want at running back, and he does well. Although now they're kind of
White.
Yeah, exactly. Except now they're kind of torched at wide receiver. So I mean, they're now kind of a trade candidate. One person I have being traded is Deontay Johnson because he's I think his contract expires after this year. So he's really what's the point for the Panthers to keep him? And I like him going to either the Chiefs or now to Tampa Bay because obviously they're decimated with Godwin out for the year. And Evans, people are only saying week to week, but I don't think that hamstring and how he pulled it again, I think he's going to be out for like 4 weeks.
Yeah. I like that one. Did you hear the big news today, though?
No.
The trade front? This morning, there's talk that the Rams are shopping Cooper Kupp, actively shopping him.
Wow. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So that's a big one. I think they're probably asking the world, but I think that's buyer beware, though. Like I mean, obviously he's fantastic, but how much of it is him and Stafford seem to just share a brain?
Yeah.
Like,
and also coaching, right? I mean, their coaches just schemes everyone open and does real well in that end.
What about D-Hop? What about D-Hop to the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah. Or Calvin Ridley, too. One of those two.
Yeah, the first year of a contract's always tough to trade a guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, D-Hop is, you just basically got to pay him for 9 games, and I think he's done at the end of the year, or maybe an option,
true.
But it's not huge. Ridley just signed, so it's tough to move that in the first year. But I see, like, D-Hop to the Chiefs, wouldn't that be interesting? Like, he's still got a little bit of juice left. He's not what he was, but he can still go. I had an interesting one. It became less interesting last night because I didn't think the Cardinals were going to win, but James Conner.
Oh,
to your Vikings.
Oh, why?
Well, think about it. Aaron Jones is a dude, but man, he gets hurt a lot.
He does.
And like, if they didn't ever have to slow down with the running game, they'd be nasty. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could use James Conner, and I think that, Cards being 2 and 5 instead of 3 and 4, they would have been smart to trade him because he's the same thing as Jones, right? But maybe between the two of them, if you just have one of them on the field, you'd be nasty. Because he is so good. And again, last night, he's so good. I got to believe that there's got to be some playoff teams that are looking at him, right? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. He's offensively, I think I was thinking this of Mike Evans too. Mike Evans is the most, I think, ever, but he's definitely so underrated. And I was thinking Mike Evans, I think he has to be the most underrated player in the last 10 years in the NFL. I mean, everyone knows he's good, but he's truly he's always that guy like, oh, I guess I'll take him in fantasy. He puts up some decent numbers, but his numbers are like best ever, not best ever, but like of his generation. And
he's 1,000 yards a year. Every year he's been in the NFL.
Yeah. You see the stat last year? It's like 11 years and I don't know, whatever it was. In his 11 years, he has top 5 receiving yards and touchdowns.
And we should have seen that. I mean, I always liked. I remember drafting him my very first year, like in his rookie year of fantasy football. But if you look back now, like he made Johnny Manziel
I was going to say
draft pick. and won him a Heisman. Like,
Yeah.
because Manziel would just run, and then throw it up. And Evans was a man child in college.
That
Like an
one play
absolute,
was like the play of the college year. I remember it
yeah,
still.
yeah. He ran around forever and just threw it up, and Evans dunked on two people, and
Yeah.
like he's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't happy last night because the play he got injured on.
Yeah.
If he catches that, that's another touchdown for Bakey, and then we had a nice little parlay going,
Ooh.
and needed the Evans yards, and lost out on it because of the Evans injury. He
You
only
got
needed like 54 yards, and I think that catch would have almost gotten it. And then not only did he not catch it and get the yards, he was hurt. So
isn't that back-to-back weeks? You guys have lost a parlay on like an
Yeah.
injury?
Yeah. Same guy too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, then there was another one. You had Jordan Mason. That
So I
was
missed it last week.
yeah.
So how we do it is there's four of us, the McCaig brothers, and everyone throws in $5 and makes a pick, and just for fun, right, to be on the chat and laughing about the game. But if you lose, like if three guys cash and you lose, you pay the whole bet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's happened 2 weeks in a row, and it's both been Jamie. he's not happy. He says he's taking a week off, so we might have a spot available if you're looking. If you see any nice parlays you want to throw in.
Perfect.
But yeah, I know it's tough one, tough way to lose because we had like this other stuff all cashed easily, right? Like that game was ridiculous. So
yeah, it sucks that they all got injured because I mean that almost the Tampa Bay game. I mean they're kind of on the fringe of a top 10 team, or they were in the top 10, but they could have hopped in, the conversation of being a great team. But now it seems that they're just kind of getting crushed by Baltimore. Did nothing. They're like they're boom or bust. They either look great or they just get crushed.
Yeah, I think their offense always looks great. I just don't think their defense is any good.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously it wasn't good last night, but I mean they're going against Lamar and King Henry. I don't know who's going to look good against them.
It's every week I see Henry, and it just doesn't seem fair to anyone else on the field, avoiding him or like he's a head of steam. That seems so miserable.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to tackle you with a head of steam, and I can imagine it's got to be 3 times worse.
3.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a higher number than 3.
Yeah.
Like, God, it'd be awful.
Right.
It'd be awful. Like your only hope is just to dive right at his shins and hope he doesn't jump over you.
And hope you don't take one of his knees to the head and just knocks you out cold.
Yeah, you'd be sleeping. And then he pulls away from people. Like, and he hit that
crazy
there last night. He's like, oh, he's only got like 5 carries for 30 yards. And all of a sudden he just hits this hole and he's gone down the sidelines for 80. It's like, that's not normal. Like people should not be that big and move like that. It's wrong. So that's just why I put them at number 1 is I just don't know who can contend with them right now.
It's crazy.
Their defense isn't really that good, I don't think. But like if you're always playing with a lead, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. I thought Tampa Bay was going to keep pace with them and just going to be a shootout. I mean, it ended up still being a shootout, but I thought it would have been a bit closer than some garbage time touchdowns.
Yeah. Any defensive trades?
Ooh, I guess Tua's coming back, but just a homer pick. I wanted Calais to Detroit.
Ooh.
He doesn't play the Hutchinson role, but any extra beef up on that line.
Yeah.
Feel a bit of leadership.
He would help anybody. Anybody. Does he want to move though? Like, didn't he go down to Miami just basically because to set his family up for life? And
yeah, exactly.
What about your former boy, Zadarius Smith?
Ooh,
if he's still got some juice left to the Lions.
Yeah, I heard that one actually too. That'd be a good one.
The little pass rush help. Even I know people are talking about Uche from the Patriots, he's just a situational rusher. Like he can get pressure though, but I don't think you're going to get much for him. Get a 5th or a 6th rounder, but it might, certainly might be worth exploring because we're certainly not making a playoff run. So
yeah, with all these injuries, you would think they would be the most trades ever, but obviously the NFL is so hard to trade or compared to other sports. But
yeah,
it's kind of nice.
So many teams are still in it.
Yeah, that's true. It's I think it's definitely like the nice thing about the NFL. It's refreshing, where I feel every other sport come trade deadline is just a fire sale and people are moving. And which brings me to a losers of last week, the Jets. I'm just so happy they lost because I'm just tired of this NIL and everything in sports is just, I want out, I'm leaving, bye. Like
Yeah,
the grass isn't always greener. I just love when these people don't get what they want and
it's
just
fantastic.
automatically win.
It's fantastic, and because they're on Rangers too, it makes it even better.
Yeah.
Like, what's this week now, right? Like, you find something to complain about every week. Like, now
Yeah.
what? What's it? Like, it's
Yeah.
oh, we fired our coach. Now we're going to be a new team, and oh, we got Hoppy. Now we're brighter days ahead.
Uh-huh.
Now what? Like,
Yeah.
sure, he'll go on McAfee tomorrow, and everyone will watch, or I guess today,
Yeah.
and he'll say something witty and be the smartest guy in the room again, and then they're going to get worked on Sunday. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's I feel like people forget that, like when Peyton was doing his run, he had nothing really left in the tank, and he just had an incredible defense and team around him.
Yeah,
Brady couldn't really throw too much, obviously, like he could, and he just had an incredible team defense around him. He's still obviously
oh, I don't
Brady,
know about
but
that. He was still like
yeah,
throwing
slinging.
for almost 5,000 yards.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same mold. But he had a great team around him.
Yeah,
Just now, it's people think, oh, Rodgers can just do it on his own with no defense and no this and that. It's like, no, the guys still can throw the ball all right, but he needs a lot more help around him.
why is their defense not good? I don't understand. Like, they've got like Quinn and Williams. They've got good linebackers. Just really good corners. But it seems like teams are running at will on them. Their safeties must just be junk. Like,
I listened on the Simmons podcast at the start of the year, or after week 1. He had one of his ringer people on who's a big Jets fan.
yeah,
He's like, no, I wish everyone in the media would have just asked me. And I guess he listed a bunch of players they lost on the line and a player here that they lost and a player there. He's like, I knew the whole time they're going to be terrible. I was like, well,
yeah.
why don't you fucking tell the rest of us who spent money on the Jets defense and
Yeah, no kidding.
Jets
Where was this?
futures?
Yeah. Well, I didn't get any of those, so I don't care about that. But
yeah. But because everyone else is like, oh, the Jets will have the best defense in the league. They're going to be this, that, or no, not looking good.
And you know what's great is the 2-5. It's not like they've played a murderer's row schedule, right? Like,
No.
This is great. I love it. The Jets are going to jet. Always, always, always. I hope they finish like 4-13. Nothing would make me happier.
Yeah. Is Russell Wilson back? Looked okay.
I mean, I guess he's technically back playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Back to what? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think he's a great fit there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, he's not Russell Wilson of old, but I think he's going to take care of the football, and I think Tomlin's going to love him.
Yeah.
And just every once in a while, he's just going to throw it up one of his deep passes and hope Pickens comes down with it. It seems to be, if they can run the ball a little bit, they have a great defense.
But they're 10 wins with the worst quarterbacks in the league. So surely you'd think Russell Wilson can take them to 10 plus, right?
You would think they can get to 10. I still think in that division they're going to be in tough. Their games against Cincy are going to be battles. Like, they haven't played a division game yet. That's another thing for the Steelers. Like, life's going to get a little bit more difficult now that Cleveland might actually play a competent quarterback. They always play Pittsburgh close. They had to deal with Lamar twice and Joe Burrow twice, so things could turn. But I think Russ is. If you look at his numbers last year, he was okay. His touchdown to interception ratio was real good. So who knows?
Speaking of the Browns, 2 fun Brown stats. Until last week, Joe Burrow was 0-5 against the Browns, which is pretty random.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never would have thought
that.
Yeah. And then a winner of this week in the NFL, Fans of Chaos. It's Winnie time. Jameis Winston is back.
No, it's going to be awesome. The ultimate roller coaster. The ultimate roller coaster. I'm so excited for it. It's actually worth paying attention now. Because you just never know. Like, out goes Will Levis, in comes Winnie. Like, this could be better. I'm so excited for it. Really? I just wish that he had more. Like, he doesn't have a lot to work with at receiver.
No,
but his quotes are going to be gold. He's going to probably eat some W's before the game.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, he's going to some good pregame speeches, get the boys fired up. How about they didn't even initially dress him last week? Like, he was the emergency.
Yeah. That was brutal. What was happening there? They put in DTR? That was bullshit.
Well, there's a rumor that because the fans have been chanting for him the last 2 home games, they've been chanting his name. So I guess they were just like, no, let's not even dress him so that they can't bother with that. And then, so who knows if that's true? I mean, it would surprise me because it's the Browns. But yeah, the same fans that were cheering for the injury, that's not nice.
Yeah,
Can't
not
do
the
that,
ideal.
can you?
I don't think so. I mean, it's
That's
probably the one of the things in sports is close-ish that you can do, just with this checkered history.
well, I guess if that's like if you're cheering on behalf of all massage therapists everywhere, fine.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you're telling me that the people in Cleveland are being that wise? I think they're just like,
Yeah,
this
that's
guy
true.
sucks, and they won't bench him because of his contract. So now we're finally rid of him. But
Yeah.
I
A
don't know.
fantasy nugget. I looked up Cedric Tillman a little bit more. So he was a third round pick last year. And where did he shoot? Now I don't have his college off the top of my head, but he played Tennessee.
Yeah,
So third round pick out of Tennessee, and he had just some absolutely insane games. He got injured the end of his final year, but before then, it was like 170 yards. He was just like outrageous against Alabama, against legit competition. So
yeah.
I don't know, maybe a little sleeper out there for
Oh,
people. Yeah.
ding, ding, ding! Pick it up. Got him in
Yeah.
your guillotine league. You just lost.
Oh
You
my
lost
god,
Godwin.
that's
That
brutal.
sucks.
I
That's
feel
rough.
like I just now the pressure's off. Where now I'm just like, all right, like I'm wanted to win. My team was looking glorious, and now I'm just like, what can I do? A quarter of my budget's gone on after 2 weeks of this Chris Godwin,
How much money do you have left?
like 300-400. So still a decent amount,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
right.
kind of when you just chop
It's not a
off a
lot.
quarter of your budget, it's kind of not odds are stacked a little bit against you.
Yeah, that was a nice pickup. That was a nice pickup by you.
I know, pissed, but yeah, I had Jared Goff as a winner, but we already talked about him.
Yeah,
Browns fans. Any other good? I mean, the games were great. Lions Vikings was just kind of as
it's
advertised.
fantastic. Packers
Yeah.
game was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? CJ Stroud's looking a little human lately. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's definitely
Is
odd.
it is it is it all because they're missing their top receiver, or
Yeah, no
like he still got
Nico.
good weapons out there?
Yeah.
But
Well, also, I mean, it's not his fault too that Mixon ran a couple, 14, 20 yarders or something like that in. So, I mean, maybe take
yeah,
those away. Maybe he throws a couple touchdowns too. So,
but even just watching the game, like
yeah.
he still makes some unbelievable throws. But man,
Hmm.
I think Green Bay surprised him a little bit. They were getting pressure a lot. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if they were expecting that, because Green Bay was kind of all over him for the whole middle part of the game.
Yeah.
It was good. That was a good game. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable after getting up for that 6:30 a.m. Pacific time debacle. That was bad. God damn it!
You guys had
Drake
a
May
10, you
though is so good.
jumped out to a 10 game or a 10-point lead too. Oh.
Yeah, and then ran out of plays. Then they just, I don't know. I guess Van Pelt just thought that we'd just get a nice lead and sit on it. I really don't understand, but I just have to keep looking at the bright side. Drake May is a stud.
Yeah.
Like, he is legit. So there's about 45 other players on that team who yeah.
Is Ramondre Stevenson good? Or is he just on a bad team with no line?
I'd say it's a combo.
Yeah.
Like, he's good. He's good. He's a good player, but he's hurt, right? But yeah, their team is, they can't block. They had at one point, after we were up 10-0, they had run 8 plays for like -2 yards, 8 running plays, and they didn't get any yards. 8.
No. Yeah.
Like, how in the world?
Not a great
It's
look.
mind-boggling, man. It sucks. It's so hard to watch. And then Mayo calls the team soft. It's like, hey, motherfucker, whose fault's that?
Yeah.
Like, you're the coach.
What's with these coaches? Him and Peterson saying that his culture needs to change. It's like, this is your guys' jobs. So what are we doing here?
Exactly. You know what the only bright side is, though, is now Billy Belichick is been clapping back at him.
Yeah.
He chirped at Bill last week about the roster, and Kraft made a comment that he actually fired him. It wasn't a mutual thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's some banquet thing, and now Bill's not holding back. He's like,
wow.
they're soft. Hey, well, they weren't soft last year when we led the league in rushing.
Yeah.
But
is that true? You guys led the league in rushing last year?
Oh, rush defense, sorry.
Oh, yeah, rush defense,
Yeah. But also, like, best D tackle, middle linebacker, run stopping safety are all gone. So
yeah,
it's not an apple. It's not apples to apples comparison. But if your team's playing soft and undisciplined, that's coaching, man. Like, so I wouldn't be bringing attention to it because it goes back to you. So
yeah, definitely.
Mayo in it. I'm saying it already. He's I've never seen someone stand on the sidelines and just look more confused. Like he doesn't do or say anything. He just has this fucking absolutely baffled look on his face all the time. Like, yeah, it's frustrating.
Are the Niners done? I mean, not done, but are they like not good? I just can't figure it out. I mean, they've obviously got injuries, but everyone's
so
got
many
injuries.
Mm-hmm. Not as many as them. Like I usually always hear this from a couple of Niners fans buddies, and it's like, all right, like everyone has injuries, but this year, look at what they're like Debo, Ayuk, McCaffrey, all gone. Kittle's not 100%. That division's still in reach, though, right? Like, are we worried they can't catch the Seahawks? I don't know. They just went to Seattle and won 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, I don't think they might be the classic team where they just battle, get into the playoffs, and then who knows? Maybe McCaffrey's back, Debo's back, Ayuk's not coming back, but their defense is still pretty nasty, and they're having bad luck even. Like they're just having like no bounces going their way, injuries all going against them. So I'm not willing to write them off yet. I still think that they have as good a chance to win that division as anyone. So
yeah, I should have rephrased that better or phrased it better. Where maybe it's time to buy low. Like, should you maybe buy some random future stock in the Niners that they can bring it together? What's your point about?
I mean, for the division, like they're going to win the division. Yeah, they're not dead.
Mm-hmm. Definitely,
Juwan will come back, right? Like so.
Yeah, and Pearsall's back. He was supposed to be pretty good as well. So
look that one up after the pod because I think that's a good one. Niners to win the division.
Yeah,
heard it here first. Write it down.
I like it. I've got them in some futures to be in the Super Bowl, just like random ones. But I think I had Bills, Niners to start the season.
There's some tough teams in the NFC. I'm not sure on that. Like, things really turned, but because that's the other thing too is their O-line's not playing great. You used to be able to count on that.
Yeah. They're not counted out, but is that your pen? Is that? I was like, I'm hearing clicks.
My bad.
You're just nervous about the Patriots. Just not happy. You need a stress pen.
Right? It's so annoying. Punt return touchdowns. My God.
Well, let's jump into some week 8 picks. Oh, I had a winner. That's what it was. One of my stats that I never knew was Kyle Shanahan's 0-5 against the Chiefs. So,
oh yeah, Andy owns him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cool Kyle Shanahan stats. Like he's 0-300 if they're not winning and going into the fourth quarter.
Oh wow.
I might be a little off on the number. It might be only like 270, but it's something not close. Like if they don't have a lead in the fourth, they got no chance. They're not a good comeback team. I don't know. He's been the author of a couple of really interesting blown leads in the Super Bowl. Definitely. He was the OC at 28-3 and couldn't figure out just to run the clock out and not let Tom Brady just keep coming back. But there's some dubious stats around Kyle Shanahan. Let's just say that.
All right. Let's jump into week 8, go over some picks. This is a weird line. Vikings-Rams. The Vikings are only 3-point favorites. I would have thought it would have been like 6-point.
Where is it?
It's in LA. But I mean, it's like LA has like a home field advantage.
No, but it's still a short week. A bit of a bit of a trek, right?
Yeah. But yeah.
They must be. I wonder if they're planning on having Kupp and Puka back.
Yeah.
Is there any chance for that?
I thought Puka was still out another couple weeks, but I guess there is a chance, of course.
Yeah.
But
that seems like a fishy line for sure.
It's definitely going to be one of those ones where it's a lock of the week and then the Rams win by like 15 for some reason.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, I'm taking the Vikings all day.
Ravens, Browns, come on.
Ooh, terrible.
Division, but
yeah. Oh, imagine just Winnie comes out of nowhere and wins the game for the Browns.
That'd be unbelievable.
A little look-ahead game for the Ravens.
Just send the division into absolute chaos.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Browns cover. Browns are 9-point underdogs.
I got 10.5 in our pool.
Okay.
That's good.
Well,
that's gotta be
the Winnie. See, it's recently come down because people are like, oh, Winnie's back. I don't know.
Winnie.
Yeah. Fraser talked about Cedric Tillman. People are looking those stats up. So now it's just dropped in the last 10 minutes. 9
Cedric
points.
Tillman. He probably won't even dress.
Yeah. Next one, we got Colts Texans. Texans 5.5-point favorites.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Richardson.
No.
They won last week, but like they're playing against a JV team and the Dolphins.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
and I don't think they generally do well down in Houston, do they?
I have no idea, but I'm sure not.
No.
Yeah. I think he was 10 for 25, so he's still leading the league by far in worst completion percentage.
He's just not good at throwing the football.
No, it's one of those things that you should. He can do a backflip, though, standing, so...
Yeah, that is true. Like, absolute broad jump, like a champ.
Yeah, so Tom Brady, I mean, eat your heart out.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see you do any backflips, Tommy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking I'm taking the Texans minus 5.5. Ooh, another weird line. The Packers in notorious Jacksonville are only 4.5-point favorites. This is very
what's
odd.
happening here? Why is this is this like in Europe again somewhere? Or
yeah, I'm actually clicking through just to make sure it's not in Europe.
They're there for the third week, so they're comfortable. Like why?
Yeah,
the Jaguars are hot coming off their win over Team Mayo. Well, come on, what are we doing here? Why would that line be that low?
That is very odd. I'm definitely making some picks. I'm making some bets right after this podcast is done. A few parlays.
Yeah, I'm just gonna circle the over on that one.
Yeah. Oh wow.
That smells like Trevor Lawrence with 2 garbage touchdowns in the fourth quarter all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely taking that. That's incredible. I would even alt-line that to like 9 for the Packers. They should crush them.
You would hope.
Mm-hmm.
You would hope, but letdown maybe. Letdown game for the Packers.
Yeah. All right. We've got Titans Lions, another shit game. What a shitty week. I haven't scrolled too much. I guess it's not that shitty, but Lions 11-point favorites.
That is a beatdown.
Yeah,
and I think it's nice. I think we can count on this now with Dan Campbell. That they're rolling, like there won't be the letdown where they beat a garbage team by 6. I think you can count on him. Okay, let's get up 17. We're going to start throwing it to linemen. We're going to see if our punter maybe can throw a pass.
Yeah,
right. Like it's going to be sweet.
I'm adding that to the parlay. The Blaiso Fraser parlays got the Lions 11, Packers 4.5, the Vikings 3. I like it. Like we're going here.
Like where we're going here, there's no chance it wins. I'm all for it right now, but I mean, history is telling me something fucked up will happen.
Absolutely, especially when I throw in at the last second the Browns to cover.
Yeah,
just get greedy.
And Winnie is just going to do it right into your grill.
Throws 3 pick sixes. This will be like a good mediocre game. Falcons Bucks. Falcons 2.5-point favorites. I don't know what to think now with Godwin and Evans out.
That is tough. You got to think there's a regression there, right? Like and Evans, he looked in a lot of pain. He's for sure got to be out this week.
Yeah,
they probably aren't saying, but
and you can't. I mean, with hamstrings, like you can't bring him back in a week or two. Like you got to let that thing heal, especially if they have the shot at the playoffs. Like sacrifice 3 weeks so you can have them for the rest of the year, or else it's just going to keep on happening.
And can the Falcons please just try one time, just try one game where you just stick to your stars, like just run Bijan like a lot, not every 12 plays. Like let's go here, or get the tight end going. Something like they want to be so balanced. It's like get your dudes the ball.
Yeah,
I think Bijan. Like he had a nice burst a couple times last week, and then you don't see him for a while. And they'd be like, "Oh, hey, let's start throwing to Ray McLeod because we haven't given him a touch lately. Like enough. Let's go. Use your star players."
Ray McLeod.
Sorry, Ray.
Taking strays.
Yeah, if Ray, if any of your family are watching, I apologize. I'm sure you're a nice guy, but like, there's a lot of other options on that team that we could be using, and using more. Kyle Pitts gets he'll have 6 catches in the first quarter, and then they just take him off. They're like, "Well, I think you're done for the day, right?"
Yeah.
Just want to ease you in, like you're a rookie still. Like enough.
Let's rest him. Get Ray out there. Get him some reps.
Yeah, poor Ray. I actually feel bad about that one. He didn't deserve that.
No. Oh no! Just right after we've been talking shit about the Jets, here come Jets Patriots, and you might not like this game.
Well, I certainly didn't like the last one.
No.
But on the bright side, I will say we didn't have a quarterback last time we played,
Mm-hmm.
and Rodgers hasn't moved since like he did in that game, and he also made some incredible throws that I don't think he can duplicate again. Patriots are covering that.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Yes,
Patriots covering.
Maybe winning outright. Yeah, it would make my season if they could just send them to 2-6, just continue the spiral. And I don't have to get up at 6:00 in the morning and watch it on French TSN because it's not on regular goddamn TV.
French TSN.
Yeah, I had to subscribe to it.
TSN. Oh no,
I had to subscribe to it. I just turned the volume off, and I was in a bad spot Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Tell
me you weren't hungover too.
No. I had a couple of hockey games, so I went. We went to a concert actually Saturday night.
Okay, all right.
Jordan Davis, very good concert, but didn't get too bad. So had a good night's sleep, and then had it on RDS because for some reason is not on like the regular TV, and
of course not.
Our buddy Otzi, he usually sends links out to the some sort of pirated way to watch those morning games. Yeah. Every time I tried, my computer was like, "Nope, that's full of viruses. No, don't do that." So finally, I was like, "Screw it." Signed up for French TSN for $9. I got to remember to cancel that. Actually,
yeah, that's miserable.
It is. It was terrible. The only good thing is like when if they do an interview or the announcers, then it's in English.
Oh,
but the rest of it, I basically just muted it.
Yeah.
Listen to some music or something to cheer me up. What I should have done is had like a good comedian show downloaded, right? Like have like Jim Jeffries or something playing, so I could at least laugh a little bit while I'm watching that absolute debacle.
Something to think about maybe for this Jets game too.
No, hey.
It's Tua. So we got Dolphins Cardinals. Is Tua back this week? Oh my god!
Yeah.
He signed his own death warrant, or at least, or release. He said, "I love the game so much." Yeah, he said, "I love the game so much, I'll die on the field," or something like that.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, that was. Let me pull up his exact quote here.
Jesus, I'm sure his family loved hearing that.
I love this game, and I love it to the death of me. That's it. So I mean, it's not ideal.
I respect that. I'm actually starting to like the guy more and more. Like he's just like, I'm going out of my shield. Screw it. Like I won't. Like I have absolute mashed potatoes for brains in 3 years, but I'm gonna just do it playing football. I kind of respect it because really, once you get to be like 65 plus and you can't walk or run or do anything fun, what's the point? Like, live it up now. He's in the NFL. Go get him to you play it.
It's gonna be awful. I hope all of Miami just as an organization goes extinct after they let Tua dress again because they said, "Oh yeah, he's got no effects." No effects? What are you talking about? He's doing little magic hands on the ground once a year, twice a year. We saw this happen 2 years ago. It's like, oh my god, how can you allow it?
He's good to go. Let's get her going here. We're not out of this yet.
I can understand week 14 or week 15, but like, what? After like 4 weeks or something? This is insane.
He was fine. He traveled to Seattle like the week after.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
this is so bad.
Just a quick concussion.
So bad.
I know, but go out on your shield, Tua.
Yeah,
let him have it. Don't let Fraser stop you. I'm picking him this week too. How much are they giving?
Okay. 3 point. They're favored 3 points. The Cardinals.
Oh god, that's an easy cover. They're going to be
easy
back.
Cover. Yeah.
They're. Hey, what? It's going to be magical. Is their coach is going to look competent again?
Yeah.
What a fraud that guy is. I love that's the one good thing about this Tua thing is it exposed him for being an absolute fraud.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to get better with Tua, but I mean it's such a gimmick offense. I think everyone's caught on to it now. At the start of the year, the first 10 games, they played some shitty teams and they couldn't figure it out. But now once they play good teams or anyone with a pulse on defense, it's all sorted. Ooh, here's a good game of just kind of odd teams. The Eagles kind of can't get it going, but can, and the Bengals are maybe right in the ship. This might be the game of the week. It's
Bengals
definitely
are
in the
heating
top.
up.
Bengals Eagles game of the week. I'm going to call it. Bengals 2.5
Did you see that this one
favorites.
got flexed up again too? By the way, it was in the afternoon slot, and then it got flexed to the morning time. 2 weeks in a row that's happened to the Eagles.
Wow.
Last week was this week is for the battle because I think they put the
Isn't
rookie
that a
bowl.
negative? Isn't that a negative flex? Like they got flexed out?
Yeah.
You mean?
They got flexed
Okay.
out. They're like, we don't want
Gotcha.
you in the late window. We want you in the morning where no one can watch you. And this happened to them twice now, which is awesome.
Wow.
And I send it to my Eagles buddies all the time. As soon as I see the tweet, it's sent off. Like, ain't nobody wants to watch your horse shit anymore. I'm tired of it. Although I will say, like, it's good to see Saquon go off against his old team, especially after the way that GM kind of did him wrong on that Hard Knock show. So I didn't hate that, but
no, he was on my loser list. I forgot to bring it up, but yeah, he let go Saquon obviously, and we've talked about it on this podcast where he had the kiss of death from the owner saying, I'd really hate to see him doing well on a division rival, let alone get crushed by him. And then
totally.
And then Xavier McKinney's having a Pro Bowl season on the Packers. So
yeah, can we go? Can I just got to sneak in my weekly? Nick Sirianni's an idiot.
Yeah,
take.
Of course.
Of course, they play the Giants. They always kill the Giants, so no credit for that. It's a revenge game for Saquon Barkley, and they have 2 tush-push touchdowns from the 1-yard line. Come on. Like, it's a revenge game.
Yeah.
Give one of those to Saquon at least. I know he got a touchdown, but, like, let's go here. Have a little bit of awareness. Like, the guy's such a clown.
Yeah.
God, I want to run out of town.
That makes sense. As a Jalen Hurts fantasy owner in my 2 main leagues, I'm telling everyone to sell high right now because watching every one of his games, gets bailed out by some tush pushes on the 1-yard line, which aren't sustainable, and then like a bomb to
AJ.
To AJ. So
yeah,
I don't think any of his play is sustainable. It's more just kind of they've been shitty in the first half every single game. Then a long bomb and a couple tush pushes saves his games. So it's not looking great
against a bad team. I've never seen anything like. If this is like 4 years in a row now, somehow the Eagles have like the easiest schedule all the time. I don't understand how it always works out that way. It's mind blowing. Like and then when they play a good team, eventually they get whooped. So I enjoy that. But
yeah, I've got in my main other league, I've got Geno Smith and Hurts. So should I trade Hurts high right now?
I mean, if you can find a sucker, take him.
Well, I mean, he's top 5 fantasy quarterback. It's just if you watch, like on paper, he's a top 5 fantasy quarterback. But if you watch the game, you see, like I said, just kind of doesn't seem sustainable. And I want to trade Geno, but I think it's one of those things where people are idiots and they're like, "Oh no, I don't want Geno Smith," but Geno Smith's top 5, like legit fantasy quarterback right now. And Hurts is also top 5.
I think announcing this on your podcast, if anyone in your league watches, might not be a great strategy.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm sure I'll try and make this trade happen before we air it.
Before you post it, good thinking. Yeah.
I'm not sure any of those assholes are listening anyways, so I think I'm all right.
Bunch of pricks.
Yeah. Another.
I hope Hempy's listening because there's the usual Dolphins chatter.
Yeah. I'll make sure I send him the link. I always do when
nice.
Who gets knocked out. Also, this isn't the Sirianni thing. I'm sure it is. But last night, it was the analytics. I'm tired. A loser. Analytics, I'm fucking over it.
Ugh.
They said on 4th, it was 4th and whatever, 4th and 2 or 4th and 3. 4th and 2 from the 40 for whatever team it was. I think it was the Bucks. And the analytics came up and they're like, oh, analytics say, and I think it was Joe Flacco, analytics say it's like, go for it in 4th and 8. I'm like, what? 4th and 8? Why are we listening to analytics? This is
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. I'm telling you, watch every time. Like sometimes they don't talk about it; it'll just pop up on the screen on the ESPN, like both college and NFL. The analytics on 4th down say go for it every time you watch it. If they post it, it says go every single time. I've never one time seen it pop up and be like, "Kick it here, let's go." Yeah, right? It's like they don't bother if you're inside the 20. Like every time that they show it, it says go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be watching that religiously now to see if it ever happens because I can't remember seeing it.
I wish we had the time where like someone who could just keep count of all the how that goes for everyone with their stupid ass analytics. Right?
No doubt. We need some staff.
Mm-hmm. Let's get some staff. Stace,
you can use the money that Stace isn't earning.
Exactly. Uses idiot
He's the worst third wheel maybe ever.
ever.
Like,
Yeah,
where's it's been a month now.
it has been.
The guy just vanishes. He becomes a world traveler and has just forgotten the little people.
Exactly. Just gallivanting with all his money and all his
Yeah, that's
fireman
a
money.
problem. That's a problem. Those two make too much money. They got no kids. They just live in the
Empty
life.
nester.
Good on them. I'm happy for them. But don't try and reel us in by being a key member of the team and then just vanish into thin air. Like, come on,
making contract demands.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Disgusting.
Last time he was here, last time he was here, he was looking for some money and some sponsorships and everything else, and then we haven't seen the guy again. What an absolute fallout he is.
Exactly. Stace. Speaking of shit, this game this is a weird one. So the Chargers, Saints, Chargers are 7-point favorites, which
oh my God.
I don't know if it makes any sense to me.
That's the no faith in the Rattler. Or Horner, or whoever that other guy is. Herner, or who's that other quarterback they have?
I have no idea.
And the Saints also have no receivers. They signed Valdez Scantling.
Is Olave out for a while? Why don't I remember this?
I think a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
That game is what a rock fight that'll be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Herbie ended up with 350 last night. He just can't get into the end zone. Like, he doesn't have any legit targets when they get down there.
Yeah. Well, that could be a nice little trade, like a Deontay Johnson or what's his name from D-Hop.
So I actually had that written down. I wrote for D-Hop, I wrote KC or Chargers, but it doesn't seem like a Harbaugh move to make.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're in the chase, right? Like, they're in the wild card hunt, especially if they could pull this out. Like, the Saints stink out loud, right? They 2-5 and they won the first 2 games of the year, so they're on a 5-game losing streak. Chargers should get above 500 here. Why would you not at least think about it? Making some sort of move, because the receivers they have, they seem to be solid enough, but they just don't scare anybody once you get to the goal line.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe a Mike Williams trade back. Here you go. Didn't work out for us. Here's your receipt. We would like him back, please.
I don't imagine they're getting any money back, though. No. You guys can chew on that contract. We tried to tell you when we didn't sign him that he was no good. You wouldn't listen.
Here's a good game. Bills Seahawks, and I don't get this line either. I'm sure I'm going to be wrong on every one of these lines because I don't get them, but Bills are only 3-point favorites for the Seahawks. And I say it's weird because I think I like the Seahawks, but I only like the Seahawks against, like, they're in that tier 2, tier 3, right?
Yeah.
Or against good teams, I think they just get crushed.
It must be because the Seahawks have been missing so many key guys on defense. I wonder if they're getting some of them back. That's the only reason. No, the way that line makes sense.
Yeah.
But
because like you said, you have the Bills' 3rd best team in the league or 4th best. So their defense looks pretty legit too. I mean, it was supposed to be a bit of a weakness, and somehow it's in the not the best unit, but it's really serviceable.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, they got torched by Lamar, but who doesn't?
Yeah.
What was their other loss? Oh, that tight one to Houston, which they could have easily won. So, I don't know. 3 plus seems a little bit much. I could see them being favored though, but I don't know about a full 3. That's a push.
This game kind of sucks only because we don't know if Jaden Daniels is back, or else it'd be at least an interesting game for rookie purposes. Also, just so you know, on my Jaden Daniels is in a bustometer, the little line, it hedged 8% in my favor, only because 2 reasons. I have Cliff Kingsbury as a winner from last week.
Yeah,
because you just plug and play anyone you want into his system. Marcus Mariota, who hasn't played well since he was back in college, all of a sudden just goes for like 205, 2 touchdowns. He threw like 12 or 13 straight completions. So
he was playing against a college team though, so there's that.
That's true. That is very, very true. And then also into my Jaden Daniels will be a bust theory. Baked in was his he's so tiny, and I just saw him getting injured, and here's first little nick. I mean, I hope not, but
you're still holding on to this, eh?
Only for my take. I just want to get that little. I'm at minus. I'm at minus 3% right now.
It's so weird. Usually you're so quick to just give up on takes and change your
No.
mind and admit you're wrong about things.
No, I'm definitely
Oh
wrong
no.
about this, but at least I'm not negative 50% wrong. Now the line's moved to like
Well,
negative 30%.
you have been up until this week. You were
Yeah,
negative more than that wrong.
yeah, that's true. It's
We'll
very
see.
true.
We'll see. I mean, you're right about the offense. Again, not only when you watch the highlights, I mean, I didn't watch any of the game, but you watch the highlights, like guys are wide open. Like guys are
Wide open.
just like, anyone's completing those passes. So it's
Mhm.
interesting. But
Yeah, I never understood Cliff being a head coach. That was just the dumbest thing on earth because he never won anywhere. But him as an offensive coordinator all day.
yeah, appears to work out pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, shoot, he's so young. I think we get used to like young coaches is doing well. Like, oh, McVay's young. That means any young coach can do it. But I'm sure, I mean, he's got what, 20, 30 years, 40 years left to coaching if he wants it. So maybe the head coaching gig could be, years down the road, he might be all right.
I don't know. I don't know if he'd wants to. I think he's figured out his niche, right? He's like, what's his name in Kansas City, the defensive
I was
coordinator.
going to say,
right?
Spagnuolo.
Like, he's like, you know what? Someone will pay him like a head coach or close, right? Like someone's going to give him $5 million to be a coordinator. Like when he lost his last job, Cliff, I mean, he took a one-way trip to Thailand, and it was like, well, he probably thought, why would I want to go back and do that? Like I'm awesome at calling offense. Why don't I just do that and enjoy my life? So I don't think he'll ever go back to be a head coach.
That's fair.
I wouldn't if I was him.
Yeah, but I mean, they've also got
who we got in it?
You don't know their ego, right? I mean, some of them just want to be. Yeah, you never know. Especially, he's not great, but I feel like those people who are professionals and great at their profession, they don't see things like regular people do. They're like, nope, I want to be head coach and I want to be the best head coach ever. I'm not going to stop until I've got that. But I don't know his ego or not. I don't know. I think it's 2.5 for the Bears. If I just think it really just depends, right? If
it's all on
Jaden Daniels back,
yeah, it's all on JD. And the Bears are coming off a bye. I don't know.
Their defense, they haven't really played anyone, but their defense, I think, is top 7 right now. Like,
they haven't played anybody.
No. I'm so happy. So I had an option to do. I put $100 down on the Bears bet because I was so sure about this.
Yeah,
and I had the option to do wins or playoffs. And thank God it was a smart thing to do. I was like, I'm doing playoffs because, wins, who knows, but they're definitely not going to be top 2 in their own division. So they've got to get a wild card. And so thank God, because I think wins, they're definitely good. I think it was 8.5 or something like that for their win total. So they're going to breeze by that, you would think. Maybe not breeze by it. It'll be close.
You would think.
Fuck. Another terrible game. Chiefs Raiders.
Yes, awful.
Yeah, moving on.
The Raiders are unwatchable.
They just signed Desmond Ritter.
Did they really?
Hmm?
Wow. Who did? Someone just signed Bailey Zappi too.
Really? I don't know.
I thought I saw that.
I'm calling this the Minshew Award. Who would you put in any sport of a player who is just a really good backup? They can't do it for a season. They can just come in, play lights out for a couple games, light the world on fire when the team's not prepared for him. I'm calling the Minshew Award because he's a great for 2 games a season, but he's just not a starter.
He is.
Madison, I think, was like that because Madison was great when he was backing up Cook and he filled in Cook for a couple games, but then can't carry the load himself, which ironically they're both on the same team. But
you could almost put Andy Dalton. You could almost put Andy Dalton in that mix.
Oh, yeah.
Although he was a starter for a long time, but his last couple stops, he's come in and done a good job off the bench and then been gone. But, going back in the day, Doug Flutie.
Ooh. Yeah, a little juice off the bench.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Had to get that one in there.
I like it. Have we talked about, maybe not. Well, we'll go, maybe I'll remember it. Jesus, another terrible game. Panthers-Broncos. Broncos 9-point favorites. When in your life did you ever think the Broncos would be a 9-point favorite?
I don't know, but I just found my survivor pick for this week.
That was actually literally giving you my next question. Who is your survivor pick?
Yeah. Panthers are awful. And now they're going to go up into altitude and play an afternoon game against Sean Payton. And, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be, it's not like the Broncos are a juggernaut, but they're going to be good enough to The Panthers might not win a game. They're not going to win again this year.
One of my future bets was worst record of the year, Panthers. So I'm glad that one's doing pretty well.
Yeah, they're not. They're not winning again.
No.
Although, do we play them?
Might.
Shouldn't get too cocky, I guess. That'd be tough.
Kind of like a good bad game. Cowboys, 49ers, and the Niners, even with all their losses, still 4.5 point favorites. That's how fallen the Cowboys are coming off a bye week.
Absolutely no respect for the Cowboys. Just calling them piss is basically what has happened there. I love that. That makes me pretty happy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But Niners are Cowboys coming off a bye.
Mm.
I don't know. I still just see like their line's not great. I still just see Joey Bosa just running absolutely roughshod.
Yeah.
Over that line. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. It's a tough one, but I also have a tough time not picking the Niners.
Yeah, you're right. I think I would do the same. You gotta push comes to shove, take the Niners until the Cowboys can prove that they're an actual football team.
Yeah. All right. I went and looked up the Carolina schedule. Denver loss. New Orleans maybe. You know, they might pull it. They play New Orleans and the Giants back to back. So maybe
when's
they win.
Carr back?
I think he was out at least a couple weeks. So he went back. That 9:30 a.m. is the Giants game, so that's over. So that game's in Germany.
Ooh,
that's right. Because someone made a comment about basically like one more FU by the States to Germany. Here's the Giants and the Panthers.
Yeah.
So let's say maybe they win one of those two. Then Kansas City, Tampa, Philly, Dallas, Arizona, Tampa, Atlanta. They might win one more game.
Mm.
And even at that, I'm saying that's going to be barely. So they'll be the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Pretty happy.
This has to be the worst week of the season so far with games because Monday Nighter.
A lot of big spreads. Yeah,
Giants Steelers, and the Steelers, as they should be, 6.5 point favorites. I think they crushed them by more.
I don't know.
Giants are trash.
They are. Daniel but last Jones time they played benched. In a Monday night game, they hung in there with somebody good. Who was it?
Yeah,
it was Dallas. Never mind.
Perceived good.
Yeah. Does Danny Dimes have his job back, or have they said?
I think they did say he is starting again, but I mean, did they go for a quarterback next year?
100%. Mm-hmm. Like them, Raiders, Panthers. Looking at the list right now: Saints, Jets, and the Colts should, but they won't be. Titans. Mm. 6 teams, Browns, 7 teams that are quarterback needy. So going back to my draft prediction, if there's another quarterback that looks half-assed, there might even be 3 go high. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it works now.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think next week we got to talk a little college because it's been absolute chaos.
It's the best. I was, because I'm an old, I love college football from way back. I love the tradition. So once these conferences started, especially when the Pac-12 was gone, I was bummed. Right? I'm like, oh no, I love the old way of college football. I was wrong. These huge conferences now, there's unbelievable games every week. Yeah. Every single week, there's these massive games. This week's not as big, but still, you got LSU, Texas A&M. The winner of that is definitely in the mix for the top 12. It's fantastic. The games are everywhere. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's been, like you said, every week there's at least 2, often 3 or 4 must-watch games. It's been awesome.
Right? Yeah, what else we got? Let's look this up here quickly. Because I love the college football slate. It's just...
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Notre Dame Navy.
Yeah. That's going to be a banger. Yeah. Because Notre Dame, I mean, if they win out, they're in. So they got to keep going. But Navy's no joke, and they play Army, who apparently is really good.
Yeah. LSU, Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's the big one. Alabama, Missouri. Alabama's one loss away from being kaput for the year.
Yeah.
Not getting in.
And then upset alert, because they're only 6.5 point favorites. Penn State is only 6.5 point favorites with Wisconsin. But has Penn State
Ooh,
played anyone? Because I remember seeing them as 3. I'm like, what? Where did they come from?
they had
They
that
have
good
not.
game with USC.
Yeah. Is USC good though? No, they're
I
three and
think they're
four.
okay. I think they're
They're
okay.
three
They're
and
not
four.
world
Let's not
beaters.
give them okay. They barely beat USC. I'm fading. I'm fading Penn State for the
Fading
rest of
them.
the year. Yeah, fading them.
All right.
They're
Texas
out.
Vanderbilt suddenly a sneaky. Vanderbilt's
Yeah,
ranked.
that's so
Like
weird. Jay
Penn
Cutler's
State,
back.
Kansas State's always good. No one's going to watch it, but it's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Miami, Florida State. It's always fun to see what kind of debacle the Seminoles are going to be up to.
That's crazy that they dropped off so bad. That gives me hope. This should be a trade candidate. Is who's Jaden or what was the name of their quarterback last year? This
Oh,
Florida State's starts with a J,
yeah.
right?
That
But
pisses me off. Yeah,
but I mean, is he? I think he was lights out until he got injured.
he was
Surely
really
he
good.
there's got to be room on some team for him to be. He could start or at least be a candidate for the Raiders or somewhere.
I don't know start, but yeah, it's certainly
Yeah.
his knee got shredded pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so not the best college slate, but last time that happened, like a couple of weeks ago, it was absolute chaos. 4 top 11 teams lost, so who
Yeah.
knows? I love it. So that's my thoughts on college football. The new conferences, it's just causing a ruckus, and that's all what we've always loved about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean,
Your
we've always
team,
gone back and forth about this where it's just like I've said every year, you're like, oh, you got to watch. And I've just been so, no, it's literally 3.5 teams matter. Well, 3 teams and then sub
yeah,
in a Clemson or whatever. And then that's it. Like every time I liked it when you could watch back in the day and it was like, maybe Texas Tech can be good. Maybe so-and-so could be good. And then there's like, I
yeah,
felt like for the last 10, 15 years, it's like, no tier 2 teams has any shot. It's going to be the same top 3 dogs every year. But now
yeah,
Miami's back, Penn State apparently. And yeah, like you said, it's been great.
yeah. And there's not
Texas,
anyone no one's
when has
running away
Texas
with
been
it.
good?
Yeah,
Like, was it back in the, what's his name?
Vince
Days.
Young,
Vince Young
2010, I
days.
think. Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So no, it's great, but it's not enough where like the top 3-4 teams are running away with it. So those second round playoff games hopefully aren't going to be blowouts because that's
Mm-hmm.
there was a few years even with the 14 playoff that the semifinals were still blowouts because
Yeah.
either Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, or Bama were just way too good and they just crushed the semifinals. So this year, that first round where it's the 5-12, 6-11, all the way down, like those playoff games are going to be glorious. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah. And I can't get a read on Carson Beck. Like one day he looks like he's incredible, and one day he looks like he should be some sort of white hip hop musician, and he's trash. Like I don't know. Is he good?
I don't know. Put him in front of the microphone. Apparently, he's not that
Yeah.
bad, but
I
white
want
hip
to
hop
say
musician. You got
he looks
Eminem.
like I know he looks like G-Eazy or like one of these little slimy guys. Like he'd be like, the new ones that are all cool, look cool.
Oh yeah, I know them. Like,
yeah. You're bopping them, right?
yeah, I don't know. They could be in this room right now, and I have no idea who they are.
I just like can't get a read because I thought he was going to be. He's going into the season. He was like a top 3 pick.
Oh, for sure. He's when he's on, he looks great. Tall, throws the ball well, athletic. But boy, he throws it to the wrong team just way too much.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they look good though. They looked pretty nasty last week. Their defense was a serious problem. And Texas is supposed to have a couple dudes on the O line, and they got abused. They got absolutely that O line got abused for the whole game. Even when they were coming back, they were just getting crushed.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. So the Georgia game and the Texas, I think Texas coach fucked up because taking out Ewers, I just thought was stupid. I mean, they were down 20. Okay, he had a bad game. We just saw Ewers have a bad game against Alabama and then almost brought them back to win after being down like 40 or 30 or something. It's like now all of a sudden it's in Ewers' head where if he doesn't do well and they're down 14, is he being yanked and he's back in? I never like that yo-yo of like just keep him in. All right, you're allowed to lose one game. Like Texas can lose 1 or 2 maybe. Yeah. And then you pull Ewers. Don't do this mid-game. And then you saw that Arch couldn't do anything, so you put him back in. I didn't think it did Ewers any favors, and yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
You know what though? I think it's at the point now where Ewers knows the situation. He knows, and they've stuck with him. And the fact that they gave him his job back, I think he's already proved, hey, you're our starter, but he tried to mix it up. And
Yeah.
Didn't work out. I almost wonder if it wasn't pre-planned because they didn't hesitate at all in going back to him. So,
Mhm.
I almost wonder if they didn't say at some point, hey, we're going to give him a couple series and see what happens, right? Show them something
Yeah.
different. But I don't know.
Yeah.
He's okay, but he kind of, I would say he reminds me of Tua, but he's like, when things are perfectly designed, he looks really good. But
Mhm.
like anything complex gets thrown at him, doesn't seem like he's that guy.
Yeah, a lot of people are high on him too because I remember they're saying he's like one of the only pure pocket passers in the draft this year, and he can manipulate the pocket and move within it well.
Yeah.
And then he's just had some stinkers
For sure.
which is kind of nice. Like I like that it's been chaos. I mean, the fact that Sanders is the number one quarterback potential draft pick, that's just is odd-ish. And Cam Ward all of a sudden is a second overall for top quarterbacks. And
he looks ridiculous. He looks like Lamar. Like he has that kind of command right now, where he's just running around, just waiting for something to happen. Nobody can catch him. He's just jukes half the team and completes the pass. Like I've seen a fair bit of their games, and he's just playing at a different level. I remember him last year at Wazoo. He was good, but man, he looks solid, and he's a good size too, right? Like he's not. He's a beast. He's fun.
Definitely. All right. Well, we got some good clips from this one. I'm going to have some TikTok Blaze. You can get on your TikTok account and see we're going to have the Major League playoffs.
What's TikTok again? I see them on Instagram usually, or Facebook or wherever you post those ones. But I don't do the TikTok. I'm not a big dancer.
No, that's fair. Well, yeah, we'll have good clips of Major League Baseball, some college, some NFL.
Yeah, I never thought we'd get into baseball. It's impressive.
I think you have to with the World Series, especially such a big, like you said, it's the best matchup.
They will not have to sell me on. I'm excited. Dodgers in 5. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Maybe 6, but I'm hoping for 5.
All right. Well, Fraser LeVay podcast with Uncle Blaiso, faneverland.com. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.